Who is the most hated person on history? Prob Hitler. When you're hated enough that you become a metaphor for other hated people, you're pretty close to the top of the list. Didn't Genghis Khan murder the most people? The fact literally anyone on both sides of the political spectrum and in any modern nation resents being compared to Hitler is very telling. I lived in Spain and the boogeyman there was Franco, the ex-dictator. I live in Romania now and our boogeyman is our ex-dictator as well, Ceausescu. I believe a figure like Hitler's is more present in the US discourse than on other countries. I am interested in knowing what hated figure Asian countries like China, Japan or India would name. My ex is up there, at least for me. Hitler obviously comes to mind, but I'd say Jimmy Savile, at least in the UK anyway. He sexually abused close to 1,000 people, mostly women and young children over the course of several decades. They think he started in his late teens-20s, and it continued until he was well into his 70s. He created this image of being eccentric off the back of being a successful DJ TV presenter, as well as raising millions for charities, also doing voluntary work in hospitals. But in hindsight it was clear he was doing all of this just so he could surround himself with potential victims. And to make it even worse, this only came to light after his death, so he got away with all of it. Identifying the most reviled individual in history is like navigating a labyrinth of perspectives. While Adolf Hitler's name often springs to mind due to the horrors of the Holocaust, other figures like Genghis Khan or Emperor Nero could vie for the title depending on who you ask. History's villains are as diverse as human experience itself, each leaving a dark mark on the annals of time. One figure who often evokes widespread disdain is Vlad the Impaler, also known as Vlad III or Vlad Dracula. Infamous for his brutal tactics and cruelty, Vlad ruled Wallachia in the 15th century. His penchant for impaling enemies and political opponents earned him a fearsome reputation, with stories of his barbarity spreading throughout Europe. Despite his efforts to defend his land from Ottoman invaders, his methods were considered excessively brutal even by the standards of the time. Today, Vlad the Impaler remains a symbol of tyranny and cruelty, his name synonymous with gruesome violence and oppression. The Westboro Baptist Church assholes are up there. Louis Theroux's documentaries on them prove just how fucking evil and stupid they are. What a bunch of genetic failures. If there is a god, he really took a massive shit in the gene pool. The guy that invented ads probably has his own special place in super hell. I think it depends on where you are from. The Western world and Europe are likely going to say Hitler. If you are from Eastern Europe, depending, you may say Stalin and Hitler. If you are from China, you may say Mao. Well, think it, you aren't going to say it, I guess. Pol Pot comes to mind. If you are from Africa, you have plenty of dictators to choose from, same with the Middle East. It's going to be a matter of perspective. Yusu Nayat. I think that as WW2 continues to become a historical event over a contemporary one, AH will drop in ranking. Not sure who will overtake him. Hitler. Putin and Trump are diligently working to achieve this status. They are as rotten as Hitler, they just didn't get the opportunities to injure yet as much as Hitler did. That bitch Carol Baskin. Genghis Khan was a pretty awful person. From an Irish perspective, Oliver Cromwell or Margaret Thatcher. Where else can you really go but Hitler? But just as an experiment, I'm going to suggest in modern times there's too many Yunguns who are too far removed from the Holocaust and its atrocities to really process it as anything more than ancient history, and that Donald Trump has become the most hated person today. Jenny from Forrest Gump. Look up the podcast Behind the Bastards. You'll get a plethora to choose from.